Hello there. I hope you're doing well. And today I'm hoping to do a bit more of a traditional or a normal ASMR video. I'm gonna just kind of be speaking at the mic and my thoughts out. I'll likely be having some Victoria 2 footage in the background or such, in case that interests you. And yeah, I don't typically make normal or traditional ASMR videos. I'm not sure if my attention span is strong enough to speak directly into a mic while staring into the blankness for 10, 15, 20 minutes. So this will be a first time. Well, not really a first one. I've done a few of these a while back, a few years ago, but that was a long time ago. I don't know what you would consider this. I believe it would be soft-spoken. I would say that's primarily because I think if I were to whisper, it'd be a little bit cringe. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I want to have a chat. You know, I always find it interesting how wide and how expansive of a continent North America is. I don't know. If you can't tell, I'm struggling to make conversation. I'm a little bit shy, a little bit nervous, so I hope you can forgive me. I'm trying to look around, trying to think of a topic, but it is surprisingly difficult to just start speaking. I don't know how other people do it. I always get the impression with other ASMR artists that, you know, they have this magical ability to just speak forever and ever and ever, and I can do something similar, but I can do it similar if I'm speaking to friends or, you know, such. I can talk to the end of the world, but on a microphone alone, that's a bit much. A little bit too much. I guess I could start with what I ate. Maybe that would be something. I just right now made myself a bit of a root beer float. I love root beer floats. I don't have them often. I love root beer a lot. And root beer floats are up there with some of my favorite desserts, but is it a dessert? I think it is, but yeah, I love it. I had bought some A&W Zero Sugar root beer, and there was some maple ice cream. Oh, it was delicious, I swear to God. And so I mixed them both together and gulp, gulp, gulp. Sorry. But yeah, I drank it all down. It was delicious. I loved it. A little bit too sweet, I would say. Well, maybe not too sweet, but a little bit heavy, because I find the sweetness got washed down with the soda really well. So that I appreciated, but it was a bit heavy. A bit much. So yeah, that I had. And for dinner a few hours ago, I had some pizza, but instead of being on pizza dough, it was on the third best thing. So I don't know about you, but when it comes to making pizzas at home, the best ideal solution would be to make pizza dough, but in this case, there was no pizza dough. So we went on to the next option, which was naan bread. But the problem is there was no naan bread. So this time we went to the third option, which is we made pizza on tortillas. God damn, it was good. I enjoyed it quite a lot, to be quite honest with you. No shame in it. So yeah, I had that. It had like shredded chicken on it, and you know, some of that bottled tomato sauce, and I believe it had olives, some cherry tomatoes, some other stuff. I don't really remember, to be quite honest with you, but it was delicious. There was another one I'd eat it right now, but I ate like 3 of them, so I gotta hold some back. It was nice. I'm hoping on going canoeing soon. I have been starting to canoe as of late, and I quite enjoy it. I hadn't done it in a long time, and so I used to do it with other people way back a few years, like many years ago actually, but eventually that stopped, and so, I stopped canoeing, and then recently I had bought one, as for years I'd been wanting to own my own canoe so I can go canoeing alone, and I bought it from a coworker, and I was very happy. And the first time I went out with it, here's the thing, right, with a canoe, is that you gotta make sure it's balanced. Now, I was used to canoeing with multiple people, right, with as pairs, sometimes trios, so the boat kind of naturally balances itself out. And but this time I was alone, so I sat in the back, and so it wasn't balanced, and I was trying to figure out how to paddle, alone, since I hadn't done that quite a bit. And one thing led to another, and I kind of pushed the paddle in a weird way in the water, and that made the canoe, pardon me, start to rock like crazy. And I started to freak out a little bit, because I was like, oh my god, like what's going on? And I had to realize, sorry for the background noise, but I had realized in that moment, because the canoe, I had filled it with some equipment that I was going to use, my phone, my camera, fishing rods, and the water bottle, and a million other things, because in my head I was like, oh, flipping a canoe, I would never do such a thing. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. Sorry. And so in like a split second, I kid you not, like a half-second decision, I realized that, oh my god, if this canoe flips over, I'm screwed, because everything's gonna fall over. And so I made the decision to just jump into the water, jump off the barge into the water. And I had my life jacket on, but for a split second, I swear to god, when I went to the water, I was panicking for like half a second or less, because all hell broke loose, because I didn't plan this. But then I realized, oh wait, I have my life jacket, and the canoe didn't flip over, and I was just in the water. I was like, okay, I'm fine. And so then from there, I began to, I'd watched a video a few days before that on just general canoe practices and how to get back in one. So, I began scooping the water out with my hands, but then I realized it was a lot of water, and I was not going to be able to scoop it all out with my hands. And so then I was like, okay, well, in that scenario, then I'm gonna have to jump back in. And here's the risky thing: it's that I thought about it. I was like, if I don't take out enough water and I try to jump back in and I fail because the canoe is too heavy because of the amount of water in it, the canoe and everything's gonna sink. But before I finished that thought process, I had already committed to jumping back in, and so I grabbed onto the edge of the canoe. Not the edge, the furthest edge, yes. And I jump and I pull myself into it. And then right as I pull myself into the canoe, I'm trying to kick with my legs, but I'm not going in further. And then I remembered that in the video, the guy stated that you have to then kind of roll into it. And kind of go, like, you jump in, you pull yourself, and then you roll onto your back. And so I did that. And I tumbled inside the canoe. And I was in. For a split second, I was waiting for it to just start, hearing bubbles and it sinking, but I got lucky and there was nothing at all. So yeah, I was happy. Of course, it was quite nice. And yeah, so then from there I proceeded to bring myself, kind of what little solo paddling technique I had. I brought myself back to shore, and I took out everything, because I realized, like, okay, I need to figure out how to actually paddle first before I do any of this fishing, camera, photo nonsense. So I put everything away. I jumped back in the canoe, and I kind of just went on. And I spent a good hour or two just practicing with the paddling, the solo paddling. And yeah, it was quite enjoyable. From there, I started to learn. And then the next day, I went canoeing again, and this time I taught myself how to properly paddle solo. I kind of taught myself how to do the J stroke and the Canadian stroke. I'm not very good at them, but it's better than nothing. Alright, the video reached 10 minutes long, and I think I'm gonna call it enough for today. I am still not used to just talking and recording straight to a microphone, so I don't know. If this video does well, then we'll see how it goes. I hope you guys enjoy. Hope you have a good night. Like, subscribe, any support is nice. Helps me make more videos, and good luck. I love you.